This is Opinion City, where pro wrestling gets the conversation it deserves. Real voices, real opinions, live every Sunday.
All right. Welcome to another brand new episode of the Opinion City podcast.
That's
I'm
right.
King Ralph. He's Parmesan. And before we even get started here, I have to apologize slightly for my voice, as last night we were at the 2300 Arena for the GCW debut show at the arena, one night only, and I did a little screaming last night, so I'm a little
we were all screaming last night.
Voices a little off today, so if you have not seen that show, get over to Triller TV, get Triller Plus, and watch that and all their other great shows. But beyond that, here we are. It is another Sunday and another brand new episode, and we're super excited for today's episode.
Yeah, we are.
Tell us who we'll be talking to, and tell us about the very unique top 5 that people are going to want to stick around for.
We are talking to one Chris O'Mealy, who is kind of like a jack of all trades, and we'll tell you why. But his top 5 is very unique. Like I said, I think it's one of the most unique top 5s we have had in our history. Top 5 Disney characters that would make excellent pro wrestlers.
Wow. That's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely stick around to the end of the episode for that. So let's not waste any more time. Let's bring him in. Our guest today, Chris O'Mealy.
And
hey, there you are.
Swapped around.
We're all over the place here.
Yeah, we're figuring things out here on the fly. Hey,
we're doing it live, pal.
Exactly.
Right.
We're doing it live.
Live, pal.
Well, we're all here now, so yes,
Yeah.
we're super excited to have you on the show today. And for people who are now just finding us or now just finding you, tell us, who is Chris O'Mealy and what do you do?
Yeah, I've been involved in the wrestling business since 2005, which every time I bring that up, it reminds me that my back and knees are killing me and I should take my ibuprofen. I have been involved in everything there is to do in wrestling except actually have a match. That's the one and last goal that's left. But I've been an announcer, a referee, a manager. I've been a promoter and a booker. And I've loved the entire journey, met lots of great people along the way and some people that are not so great. But that's pretty much where my career has kind of taken me. And like nowadays, I get to basically sit at the announcer booth for several different promotions. I still have some opportunities coming up to be a ring announcer again, and I'm going to be sprinkling the seeds and teasing along the way that I've got bigger projects coming up in the future here.
Hey,
but I'm also a podcaster, a streamer, and an aspiring author as well. And I hope to have my very first book. I'd love to have it out by the end of the year, but I know how realistic these things are. So,
wow.
Yeah, I have a friend that. Yeah, I have a friend that made that published a book. It took him like 7 years from start to finish to like get it, the thought idea out there written and then published. So
I absolutely believe it. It's a harder process than I care to admit, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes, and I can tell you a little bit more about it along the journey. I have several books in mind, but I'll tell you about the one I'm actively working on. It's going to be a horror anthology.
Oh,
love
nice.
that. Love
Very
that.
Cool.
So what do you remember about that first night working for Johnny Glitter at World Star Wrestling? What was it like being a brand new announcer walking into that environment?
Oh, what don't I remember about my first time meeting Johnny Glitter? What a unique individual. And so I actually got roped into it. I make that joke now, but really I kind of talked my way into it. Do you guys know John Salinas, Johnny Toxic?
I don't think so. No.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I've heard of him.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I met him when I was in college. It was one of those deals where like I didn't really know what I was doing with my life. So we would go and watch pay-per-views at my buddy's girlfriend's house. And I'm like, guys, I'm taking all these gen ed classes, but I don't know what direction I want to go in. They're like, well, we're going to do broadcasting courses. It's like, okay, like broadcasting, that sounds cool. That sounds like something I might be into. So I signed up to do a TV production class with them. And me and my two buddies are sitting in the back of the classroom with a fourth guy sitting with us. And the professor's like, well, small class, go around and introduce yourselves. And we'll start with you. And he goes, hi, I'm John. I'm a professional wrestler. And we do the, like, what? So we became friends and we'd work on projects together and everything. And I'd be chatting with him about wrestling. Like, man, I'd love to get involved, but I know I'm not an athlete. I'd probably never make it as a wrestler. But he's like, well, there's other things you could do. I think you could make a good manager or something. Why don't you come by the school and check it out? So on a Wednesday night in December, I got to meet Johnny Glitter for the very first time in a garage in Pittston, Pennsylvania, in the grossest part of town, because that's where all great wrestling stories start.
Sure.
Right. And I met a guy with the Hulk Hogan hair, because he had nothing on top, but he had the long blonde hair in the back. He had it dreadlocked at the time.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Hello, Chris O'Mealy. It's nice to meet you. I'm Johnny Glitter. I used to work for Vince McMahon back in the 1980s. Okay, cool. I've never heard of you, but that's really cool. Yeah. Like, tell me more. And, you know, his big claim to fames were like managing Owen Hart and the Road Warriors on B house shows in the 80s. But he'd been there, he'd done that, he'd worked there, and he talked like you would expect a 1980s wrestler to talk, which is the thing I never forget about him. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to step in the ring there and you're going to give me 5 minutes and you're going to tell me a story. And if you don't tell me a story, I'm going to think you don't know what you're doing out there. And then he just loses train of thought. But a really unique individual. And I absolutely loved meeting him. It was a really cool time going up to the school every single week and getting to meet Matt Turner for the first time. He now has a very successful Joshi podcast that you guys should check out. Hey, Matt, just gave you a free plug. You're welcome,
check it out.
So, yeah, and I got to meet Mike Collis for the first time right after he had come back from active duty over in Iraq. And Justin Glory was the student trainer that was there. So he kind of took me under his wing, too. So really cool experience. I remember the building itself was like a lowboy ring in the back. All the ceiling tiles had been removed, so the exposed pipe was there, but that's so you could get a little bit of clearance so you could work. And then the walls were just covered with posters. Those old school, like cardboard 80s style posters, which I freaking love those. And I wish those would make a comeback. Like, I had a little lounge area with a television and a VCR to watch tape for everybody to study, a little workout area. And then he had his desk over in the corner. And he's like, sit down, let's have a conversation about professional wrestling. So we did. And that's how I got involved in World Star Wrestling, which at a snowy night in December, that eventually led to my debut in May 14th, actually, 2005. So we're approaching the 21st year coming up this month as we're recording.
Wow. Incredible.
I know, I'm tired, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy, I can only imagine. So at some point you went from being a ring announcer to co-founding what would become Grand Slam Wrestling. So
yes,
how does a ring announcer end up becoming a promoter and booker? And was that kind of always the plan, or did it just happen just out of nowhere?
John's going to love me telling the story because I would assume he tells the same story, but GSW was formed out of spite.
Oh,
okay. Okay.
Basically, we're talking, this is 2007-ish, around the summertime, basically. Somebody had come in to World Star Wrestling named Jack Molson, who I think people are familiar with. He kind of took over, did things his own way, didn't get along with a lot of people, and really didn't get along with John. And they had worked a show together. Steve Carino was on the show with a bunch of his representatives and everything. And Molson was mad about how the match went, but he didn't say anything about it until after Carino and his guys left. And then he went off on John. He smacked him. He assaulted him in the locker room.
Oh, geez.
John decided he'd had enough. And at this point, John and I are best friends. He's the whole reason I'm there. I had also ridden with him. So we get in the car, we're leaving. This is in Connecticut. So we're driving back to Northeast PA because we were both living up there at the time. And I'm like, you're done, aren't you? He's like, yep. I'm like, yeah, if you're going, I don't think I want to stay. Cause I'd already started to feel like I was being phased out. I remember Glitter telling me that like there was this new ring announcer that was going to come in, and he was going to do half the show and I was going to do the other half, and it was going to be to take the pressure off of me. And even at like 22 years old, however old I was at the time, I knew what that really meant. So I'm like, if you're leaving, I'm going with you, because I'm not going to stay here if you're not here, because you're the whole reason that I'm even involved with this. And he's like, we could do this ourselves. I'm like, you think so? He's like, it's not hard. We could pull it off. So, okay, so what are we going to do? So we started brainstorming, and our buddy Chris Decker got involved, who would later become a referee and a commentator himself. And we kind of just mapped it out for the rest of the summer, what it would take to run a show. We called the people that we knew and we liked, that we knew would come in and work for us. And we formed, then known as Garden State Wrestling, because we started it in New Jersey. Because if you guys know, New Jersey doesn't require anything to run a promotion except a building and a ring.
Right.
Which is why there's 1,500 of them, and most of them are trash. And we were no exception.
Yeah, we're saturated.
Yes, way too saturated.
We're saturated.
But because I was the New Jersey resident, all they needed was my address, and we were good to go. So we formed Garden State Wrestling LLC to protect ourselves, because we were kids, but we weren't stupid. And we started on November 19th, 2007, on a show with a notoriously low ceiling that Steve Cruz from the Killer Steve still brings up to me once a year at least, and we'll probably bring it up again when I share this episode. Yes, Steve, the ceiling was very low. I'm sorry about that. I didn't book the building, but at this point it's a meme, so go ahead and rib me for it. It's fine. But yeah, we started GSW, and GSW made it all the way to COVID. In fact, our last show, we talked about it. It was February 29th. It was Leap Day. That was the big deal. It was the Leap Day show, and it was 2020. And we were like, hey, this COVID thing, you think this is getting serious? Like, you think it's going to affect independent wrestling? And 3 weeks later, we see what happened. But John was ready to shut GSW down anyway. I think he was tired. I wasn't involved with the promoting end at that point. It was kind of all him. And he just, it got to that point. But GSW survived a really long time. And I'm really proud of everybody who came through those doors and made GSW a thing. And I thank all of them, because, we wouldn't be here without them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've said that you've done everything in wrestling except actually have a match. So if you had to pick one person from the entire wrestling world to be in your corner for that first match, who would you pick and why?
Oh, man. What a great question. Jim Cornette.
Ooh.
Oh,
greatest,
boy.
Wow.
Second greatest manager of all time. Greatest manager still alive, because we do not have Bobby Heenan anymore. But yes, give me Cornette in my corner. I'm winning 100%. I'm going over.
So you want the whole deal, the tennis racket and everything.
Oh, otherwise don't even bother to show up. What's the point?
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure Jim Cornette is going to love to hear that without the tennis racket, he's nothing.
I'm sure Jim Cornette is going to listen to this podcast, and so yes.
Oh boy,
that would be my ideal manager. But if I was just going to have somebody to like watch my back, if I needed like an enforcer, give me Samoa Joe.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Ooh, that's even better.
Yeah, now I dare somebody to cross me with Joe in my corner.
Right.
Yeah.
That's incredible. But now you said second best manager. I'm assuming your number one's Bobby Heenan.
Bobby Heenan, yes.
So do you not even have Heyman on your list?
Heyman's up there. He's in the Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I'll put him in the Mount
I was just
Rushmore,
curious. I was like, you even mentioned Heyman. I'm like, is there something wrong with Heyman?
I'll give you a bonus top 5. Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette, Paul Heyman, Paul Bearer, Jimmy Hart.
Ooh, nice.
Got it. Okay. Nice.
Those are my top 5 managers in pro wrestling history. Plenty of honorable mentions out there, but
sure.
To me, those are the GOATs.
All right.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned earlier you are currently the lead commentator for Three Legacies Wrestling out of Lancaster, PA. Some people say Lancaster. I don't.
Good,
for people who don't know 3OW, right. People who don't know 3OW, give us the elevator pitch. What makes that promotion special to you?
So Three Legacies Wrestling was formed in 2022. The founder is Jesus Rodriguez, now famously known as Ricardo Rodriguez. But 3LW kind of revitalized the love of wrestling in Lancaster that was left behind from Lancaster Championship Wrestling, which had a really good run until they sold to that guy from Fox's Pizza Den, and he went to jail for embezzlement or whatever the hell happened there. I have no idea.
Oh, great.
But yeah, the LCW used to run at the Lancaster Host Resort where I actually worked in banquet setup. So I was there for pretty much all of their shows for about 2 years or so. And Lancaster had a really good dedicated following to wrestling, and there was a void left when they disappeared. So I feel like 3LW and other companies in this area are kind of filling that void and getting that central Pennsylvania demographic, of which there is a lot of them between Lancaster, Reading, York, Harrisburg, Hershey, this whole area. All these cities are so interconnected because they're so close to each other. So it's been really cool to see a lot of the old fans come back and rediscover pro wrestling. In fact, before I discovered 3LW, I was trying to potentially start something up here with Phil Stamper, and he had no success. Yeah, he had no success whatsoever. But he's like, if you can find somebody, I'm in. And I was like, I'll try, but I'm trying to get my resources together. And then all of a sudden, I hear, oh, did you know that there's a new company starting up right in Lancaster? No. You mean 10 minutes from my house? That's awesome. No more 2, 3 hour, 4 hour car rides. Not that those weren't fun, but I'm older now. So 15 minutes versus 3.5 hours is a big difference. So,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's a gap filler. There is such a huge contingency of wrestling fans in this area that were starved of independent wrestling. And what I like about, and I'll say this about all the companies that I currently work for, because I kind of pick and choose my companies now. I work for companies who have organized shows, who have professional wrestlers who actually look the part and work hard, and who don't do stupid stuff that could endanger the fans.
Right. Of course.
And if you're into that, that's great. That's cool, but that's not my scene. So
yeah, absolutely. And 3LW, again, independent professional wrestling in Pennsylvania is really kind of thriving and is very present. And with 3LW, you have had the opportunity to host shows at some very very cool places, including Millersville University, which is just very impressive. So tell us a little bit about maybe how that came about, and just some of the really cool places that you've had the opportunity to run shows.
Well, Millersville has kind of been the main venue that has been hosting us for a while now. For a while, we were running at the Brightside Opportunity Center, which is in downtown Lancaster. It's like a church youth center type place with a gymnasium. So we were running in their gym, but then we got to that point where we physically ran out of space for the fans. Good problem to have. Wow. Very good problem.
Oh,
yeah. Right.
We kind of had to expand. I don't remember how the Millersville deal came on the table because I wasn't part of that. But I do know that we've ran in 2 different buildings on their campus. And while the parking isn't the easiest to deal with because we have the whole issue of the student-only parking spaces, the venue's been great. It's a really nice, very easy venue. So, and I won't get into details of my shoot job because it's not all that exciting, but I work with a lot of colleges throughout America, and Millersville happens to be one of them. So I always find it fun when I get to work with the students from Millersville University. And I'm like, you guys don't know this, but I'm the announcer guy doing the wrestling shows once a month there.
Nice.
Because the building itself has like an elevated track that the students can run on. So you see them like in the middle of shows, you'll just see students running up there.
Wow.
I wonder what they're even thinking about the professional wrestlers down there, but
right. Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, hang out and watch. I mean, the students get discounted stuff. And a lot of the venues we've worked at have been really cool fundraisers. We've done a lot of stuff with other schools too. We did something with Lancaster Pride that was a really fun show. It was a benefit for the LGBT community, which I'm a very strong proponent for, because I've considered myself a very proud ally, very unapologetic ally. And I remember very specifically the building had gotten some death threats that day.
Ooh.
So some of us were like, this wasn't a show with commentary, so I was actually security for this. And Victor Atlas, I don't know if you guys know him, who's jacked to hell and back. He's standing out there. He goes, "Let him try." I think he was ready to.
Oh yeah,
he was ready to throw down.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of was too. That was the show where I was told to stand near Jamie Lynn Senegal, and if anybody says anything offensive to her, kick him out. And I'm like, this is the first time in my life I've ever wanted to hear a transphobic comment, because I was just like itching.
Yeah.
You're ready. You're wind up.
Yeah. But you know what? It was a really cool event. It was a very safe space, really positive energy. J.S. Hawthorne performed on the show, who's one of my favorite
we love him
in professional wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish him all the best over in Japan right now. That's so cool that he gets
he's killing it over there.
That is cool.
Yeah, he's absolutely killing it over there. And most recently, I got to perform at the Zembo Shrine in Harrisburg.
Oh, nice.
Which
is
wow. If you guys know the history about it, it dates back to Vince McMahon Sr. running shows with Capital Wrestling. And we're talking Bruno Sammartino and Pedro Morales and Jimmy Snuka and Bob Backlund as the headliners. So to be able to sit in that building and be part of professional wrestling was a huge honor for me. Yeah,
I can't imagine,
because I'm a big wrestling historian guy. So stuff like that resonates really strong with me.
Yeah. Now you did mention something there that kind of ties into something that we're going to be doing here as well, that also ties into something with 3LW. So you mentioned the LGBTQ community, and we're going to be starting a new podcast very soon that is going to highlight and spotlight the underrepresented groups within the wrestling community, such as the minorities or women or the LGBTQ. And one of our co-hosts for that show is Allison Red, who graduated from the 3LW Academy. So talk a little bit about the 3LW Academy.
So 3LW Academy was formed before we had our first show. It's in a shopping center in Centerville, Pennsylvania. When I first went there, they only owned the one building, so the ring was as wide as the two walls. So it was literally like to go to the bathroom in the back, you had to crawl through the ring. Oh, wow. And there was one trainee who was there at the time.
Oh, God.
And then it expanded. The wall came down. They got a production area now. They've got an office. They've got the lounge area. I actually think they might have 3 rings now, because I know they've got the 2 training rings, and I'm almost positive that the show ring is a separate ring entirely. So they got a low boy, which was where I took my first bump. So good luck, guys. But yeah, the 3LW Academy has turned out some excellent students, including Zoe Cannon, who is one of my personal favorite wrestlers and a wonderful friend of mine. She's absolutely killing it out there on the independent scene. She's in very high demand, which is great for her. It's a good problem to have. And one of my absolute best friends. I try to go and support her everywhere she performs. So I will. I got to get her schedule so I know exactly where I'm going next. Yeah. But yeah, she's been a tremendous asset to the company and everything. And they've gotten now Nick Gage in his recovery, and he is doing awesome, by the way. Like, I can't speak highly enough for the progress that he's made personally. He's been kind of running classes there and seminars and everything himself. Wow. And it's really cool to just see what a good place he's in personally and professionally now. Really, really good guy. I think very, very misunderstood just based on stuff that he's probably seen here about him on the internet. But go meet Nick Gage now. He's not that same person anymore. And Action and Ready comes by pretty often and helps run class too.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. Delirious, if you're watching this, the last time we chatted, you said you would see me soon, and that's 2 years ago, dude. What the hell?
Oh, jeez.
Calling people out. That's what we do here.
I love that guy, but he said I look forward to seeing you soon. I'll be back. I'll be back really soon. What the hell?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting, dude. That was 2024. Where are you at?
Well, I mean, to be fair, that was so our next week's guest, similar story. We actually drove him 2 years ago to a show, Mania weekend for Mania 40. And we said, hey, we'll hit you up soon to be on the podcast. 2 years later, oh, hey, we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I've been doing this 21 years. I just come to expect it at this point. So
Absolutely.
Now, commentary is one of those things fans have very strong opinions about. Who are the commentators that shaped how you'd call in a match? Who were you studying?
yeah, so I like to call wrestling like it's a sport.
Mhm.
I like the real good play-by-play analysts who are very sports based. So I'm looking at guys like Lance Russell. I'm looking at Gordon Soley.
Mhm.
I like to watch classic Jim Ross. Attitude Era Jim Ross is great, but I'm talking about like NWA Jim Ross.
Yeah.
He was really
okay.
Because he was the perfect, what I think was the good sports analyst that also had like the energy and the affliction and everything. So that's like the Jim Ross that I enjoy watching. I've come to really appreciate Michael Cole. I think that he spent a long time with a bad reputation, and I can understand that. But I kind of feel like now the Michael Cole that we see is just like super chill and laid back. So
yeah,
I think he's doing a great job these days. And I really liked Mauro Ranallo when he was around because he was a genuine sports commentator.
I love him.
And I always love Joey Styles because commentating by yourself is very difficult. But if Joey could do it, I could do it. So I just channeled an inner Joey Styles and went for it. But those are always my favorite broadcast guys. I love the color analyst too because you need a good color analyst. I love Gorilla and Jesse or Gorilla and Bobby. Like, what a fantastic combination. Vince, take or leave. I think like Tony Schiavone before WCW ruined him was very good, but that later time, and then Mike Tenay is awesome.
Oh,
I love Mike Tenay. Yeah,
Mike Tenay is great too. So like those are the guys I really, if I'm gonna actually sit down and study a commentator, those are the guys I'm looking at. And because I feel like I could take a little something from every one of them and create a package for me.
Sure. Some great choices there. Definitely, kind of the whole gamut of, announcing and commentators over the years. So definitely some good background for you as a commentator. But you have seen a lot from behind the microphone. So what would you say is the most maybe chaotic or unexpected thing that has ever happened at a show that you had to just keep calling like a professional?
Jay Freddy, who I love to death, did a suicide dive to the gate at one of the GSW shows and busted himself open as bad as anything I've ever seen in ECW.
Oh, jeez.
And he was gushing blood. And you kind of just roll with it, We called it. We let the doctor call it because Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission rules and everything. He was kind of upset about it, but we kind of told him, dude, you're going to be the most over babyface on the next show. And he was.
Yeah.
So we just booked the rematch. I forget who his opponent was, but we just had him go one-on-one again. And he was the most over babyface on the show. I can't tell you that I've ever worked a wrestling show where everything went flawlessly. So
right.
Sure.
I think a lot of the times I don't like to know who's going over because I'm trying to live in the moment and call it unless I need to know to impact angles and put certain things over. So I like to not know because then I'm not in my head scrambling over, well, that wasn't supposed to happen because I mean, even just a few months ago, we had a match where it didn't kick out and the referee had to call it like a shoot and the other guy ended up going over. And, there was a little bit of chaos and some apologies and everything, but you have to just roll with it. And like I told the guys all the time, because I'm in a very fortunate part of my career now where I can be a mentor to young wrestlers. And I really do love doing that because, I'm all about giving back to the next generation because who am I?
Right.
I want these are the kids this is the future here.
Sure.
So I tell them all the time, like, guys, just, let it go. Next time you use it as a lesson and your next match is going to be even better than this one. And I think that's a good lesson for a lot of people to hear, because I think, even today, I think there are some promoters who still get very yelly when things go wrong. Like they're
right.
they kind of just let their emotions build up, and we need less of that emotional outbursts and more of like being a teacher, a mentor, being a leader. So a little compassion, I think, goes a long way. And a lot of the times the guys are really beating themselves up anyway. So as a promoter myself, I've never yelled at anybody for doing anything unless it was really egregious and disrespectful. And even then I was like, don't effing do that again, because we're not playing that.
Yeah.
But like, I would tell everybody, I'd be like, listen, this is exactly what it is. Nobody got hurt. The match was fine. It was just the finish that got messed up, but you're here, you're going to wash it off, go home, have a good meal, get a good night's sleep, get back to training tomorrow. Next week, when you get out there again, you're going to go kill it. And I've noticed that goes a lot further than you messed up. I'm mad.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen Johnny Glitter's face get more red than the cane mask behind you.
Yeah.
So
oh no.
I try not to do that. I try not to be that guy.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you said something interesting there that's going to lead into something else we want to talk about. But you mentioned "Let It Go." So you actually started it. Yeah. See, I'm on the ball here, man. I don't miss a thing. So you started at Disney through the college program after graduating Montclair State. So what made you decide to do the college program? And was this like a lifelong Disney dream, or again, did this just come out of nowhere?
Yeah, so I had no idea the Disney college program existed. I'd never heard of it. And I'm in my last semester. I'm graduating early, so things are kind of happening faster for me than I'm prepared for. I literally this is the one class semester, right? That's all I have left. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do after this, because with broadcasting school in New Jersey, good close proximity to New York City, but one of the big issues was a lot of the job opportunities that were presenting themselves weren't really anything that interested me too much. There were a lot of people that were working for like Fox News or MSNBC, and I didn't really have a lot of interest in news. People were doing stuff on like talk shows, like everything from The View to the Colbert Report, and that's cool, but again, I wasn't really feeling that either. A lot of people were doing sports. So we had people that were interning for ESPN. And I'm a sports guy, but like, I'm not like a hardcore sports guy where I just didn't think I would be knowledgeable enough in any real field to really get there. So I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do as a career after this. I'm just going to kind of graduate and figure it out, I suppose, and maybe get like a little job editing, or who knows, like maybe I'll work for my local community or something doing camera work. And I'm with my friend Tori, one of my best friends still to this day. And she goes, hey, I got going to this really cool meeting later about doing the Disney college program. Like, well, what's that? It's an internship where you go and you basically live there for a semester, and you take classes, but then you get to work at the theme parks. Like, that sounds friggin' cool, but I'm about to graduate. She goes, no, you can do it. Up to one semester after you graduate, you're eligible for it. You just don't have to take the classes. You can just work. I'm like, wow, that was never on my radar. So like, that sounds really cool. So she's like, just come with me. It's like just an open like seminar that you can attend. Come with me. Check it out. Right. Okay. So they brought in this representative and they hyped everything up. They show you this video package where it's this huge montage of everything that Disney does. And it's all the movies and the shows and the parks. But then it's also like, hey, by the way, we own this IP and this IP and this IP. And this is even before Star Wars and Marvel was a thing. They still own so much stuff. And you're this is, ABC and ESPN. Like, this is awesome. And then they just kind of hype you up for it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna really consider this. So I talked with my parents. They loved the idea. Because again, I didn't really have any direction, and I'm sure at that point they were really excited for their I think I was 23 or 24 at the time. So I think they were really excited for their son to move out of the house. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll totally encourage this. Totally encourage this.
So they had you halfway out the door as they were telling you that.
Yeah, they didn't tell me that part. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna give this a try. So you do a phone interview, and they basically, it's a personality test for the most part, because Disney, they're cast members, very bubbly and very open and very energetic. And I mean, I kind of can be that way sometimes too. I try not to be Mr. Boring and droll and, there goes another side headlock. Oh, like I try to be a little exciting. Actually, and real quick throwback here, shout out to all of the talent who have given me some excellent feedback on my commentary. I never get negative feedback on my commentary, except for like one person, but whatever. Like 1 or 2 people have been like, well, this could be better, but across the board, it's been super positive. So thank you guys so much. That means a lot to me. And I do this for you. So please, I'm always open to feedback. If you have genuine feedback, I want to hear it. But if you love what I'm doing, I love what you're doing. So there you go. I just put over a crap ton of wrestlers. You're welcome, guys. So they offered me the internship. I got in, and you don't know what you're doing till you get there. So May comes around. May's like my big anniversary thing, because like I have my wrestling anniversary, but then I have my Disney anniversary too. So I graduate. I do the graduation, and literally the next day I am packing a suitcase because I'm getting on the train the next day to go to Florida to live there from May till January. So everything's packing up, and May 19th, which is a hysterical date in the world of professional wrestling.
May 19th.
From that angle. Yeah. It's also Andre the Giant's birthday, but we don't talk about that apparently. So May 19th, I got on the train, and May 21st, I moved into my apartment. And I think the next, there's like 2 days to kind of like relax and everything and get to know it. And then you start your assignment the next day. And I got there and I found out that I was going to be a safari driver at Animal Kingdom. And then I found out later, because I'm a talker, because I'm an Italian from New Jersey, that if you talk a lot during your interview, you get an attraction that spiels. So I was cool with that, because it was one of the, I can't think of, in retrospect, I can't think of any other attraction that would have been cooler to work at as like a college kid intern level. Right. Like that was really, really fascinating. So yeah, I became a safari driver at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
So before we get into hold on, Sean. Before we get into the safari driver, we have a comment I wanted to highlight just quickly here.
Here we go.
Zoe Cannon checking in said, Chris has called some of my most important matches of my career. I am forever grateful for him.
Shout out to you, Zoe Cannon.
Checking in. Yes. Someone will have to have on the show as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love Zoe Cannon to death. She is one of the most wonderful people in the professional wrestling business. If you guys can, and I'll even find the link for you guys, you have to see her match with JS Hawthorne. It is one of the best matches I have ever called in my life.
Awesome.
Another wonderful human being, Mr. Hawthorne.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, tell us, what does a day actually look like out there? Like any wild animal moments you can share with the people?
Oh, plenty. Okay. So,
animal stories.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, so animals do what animals do in front of the children, whether they like it or not.
Right.
So you see a lot of things when you do safari all day long.
Oh boy.
Safari is somewhat structured differently from a lot of Disney attractions. So how most attractions work is you go into what they call a rotation. So you'll go to like the greeter of the attraction, and then after a certain amount, about an hour or so, they'll rotate everybody, and then you'll move to the next position, which might be the fast pass return, or it might be where the lines merge, or it might be a grouper position. Safari structured a little differently because you have to have so many trucks out there and somebody to drive them. So Safari, you basically get what they call a land position. You'll do one of them a day, and it's just whatever you happen to draw from the lot. Basically, whoever's due to go on break is the one that you get. Otherwise, you go out on the trucks, and you would do about 3 to 5 rounds before you would probably get bumped off the truck and take a break. And then you do probably another 3 to 5 rounds. You take your lunch, and then you'd either do your land position, or maybe you're going to go work the parade, because Animal Kingdom had a really fun parade, and that would kind of be your land position. I used to love doing that because it was basically like 2 hours off the truck, easy every day.
Nice.
And you get to just hang out and watch the parade. You just do crowd control.
Yeah.
And then you're back on the trucks until you're done. But the safari itself, at least at that time, I know it's different now, you would probably be looking at about 17 to 18 minutes for a good show time, a good full run. And that's actually like out there with the safari. Counting the time to load and unload your guests, about 20, maybe 25 minutes if there's a lot of traffic buildup. So it sounds like a lot, but you're really not doing that many. You might do 2 or 3 shows in an hour, and then you're getting bumped pretty frequently. I mean, I've been out there for a lot of runs, but for the most part, it's the time goes by pretty quickly. And you get your guests. It's a 36-foot long truck, by the way, that you have to learn how to drive. And
oh, wow.
By the way, they don't check if you have a driver's license before you start. They ask during training. They're like, "You have a driver's license, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, yeah, that's good, because if you didn't, you couldn't work here. I'm like, maybe you should have asked me before I.
Yeah, right.
Too late now. I'm already dressed like Steve Irwin, so too late. Like, let's go.
Yep. Bring on the Stingrays.
I'll grab you guys some pictures from back then so you guys can see. But the outfit was actually pretty cool, but it was hot. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but Florida's really hot.
I've heard. I've heard rumors.
Yeah, it's hotter in the summer, and Animal Kingdom's very thick foliage, so it's the hottest park.
Which is hot.
Polyester doesn't breathe all that well. So thank God we were allowed to wear shorts, or I would have been dead.
Oh yeah.
Right. But, I'm sure.
So yeah.
I can't imagine.
So you pick up your guests, and you could probably have, I would say, maybe 36 to 40 people on the truck. And then you begin the journey, and you would start in the forest. And there was a couple of cool animals in the forest. The okapi was there, which is a really fun animal to talk about because it wasn't discovered until 1901. It's a very elusive animal. It was discovered in like the really deep jungles of the Congo. So that's a cool animal to talk about. It's also the only living relative of the giraffe, but it's got striped legs, so people think it's a zebra. But if you actually look at like the head structure and the horns, it's a giraffe relative, which is really cool. There's black rhinos that are out there too. They're separated from the truck because they get a little aggressive, so they have like a river separation.
Yeah, I bet.
And then there's a couple other animals. There was the greater kudu and the bongo, which are like African deer type animals. So you pretty much start your journey with them. Then you move on to the area where the hippos are. So they're all in the big pools and everything. And let me tell you guys, when the hippos got to go, that thing, they just stick it out of the water, and it's like a friggin' car wash. And
God.
It's something to witness, and it's really something to smell. And the kids think it's the funniest thing in the world. And what are you going to do? Everybody had that book when they were kids. Everybody poops, right? Well, the hippos are no exception. There they go. Great. And now, well, what am I supposed to talk about? They're all paying attention to the animal taking a big liquid dump. I can't add anything to this conversation, but then there's the you drive over the crocodile pit. 27 crocodiles, all FedExed, by the way. They were all FedExed over from Africa.
Oh God.
They were all males.
Yeah.
And they would never move during the day because they just really aren't active animals. So the guests very commonly would be like, those aren't real. And my reaction to that was, if they were animatronic, they'd be moving. Have you been on the Jungle Cruise where they move in a very back and forth kind of way?
Right.
The reason they're not moving is because they are real, and because it's hot and they don't want to deal with you.
Right.
If a local Florida bird ever lands in the crocodile pit, they start moving very quickly, and it is terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And there's feathers everywhere, and the kids think it's funny for the most part. So,
of course,
what are you going to do with that? Then you expand onto the savannah, and that's where the giraffes are, and the antelope, and the what else was out there? The wildebeest were out there. The Thompson's gazelles were out there. So you get the cool grazing animals all over. That was kind of a pretty big big part of the ride too. That's probably the biggest section is East Savannah. And just if a giraffe comes close to the truck, we had the authority. We could stop for about 5 seconds because we're going back to before smartphones were really a big thing. So it was still a lot of flash photography, a lot of like disposable cameras. So I would stop and I would tell everybody, I said, okay, guys, I can stop for about 5 seconds. Have your cameras ready. I'd pull up next to the giraffe. I'd stop, like take your pictures. I'd let everybody do their thing. And then I would be like, all right, guys, we got to keep moving because we got trucks behind me. I said, and I'd move on to the next animal. And now I think that nowadays they're really allowed to stop a lot more frequently, which is awesome. I was just one of those frequent guest complaint things. And then you would go to the West Savannah, and that's where the white rhinos were. They were a little more docile, so they were allowed to walk alongside the trucks. The ostriches would be there. Ostriches are huge pains in the asses, by the way. Yeah. Because if they stop in the road, they don't move. Okay, so let me tell you what the etiquette is for that, because we have a plan. If an animal stops in front of your truck,
gas is on the right.
Yes. Yeah. You get 10 feet away from the animal, right? Okay. You don't honk at them because if you honk, that's going to freak everything out.
Sure.
So you get 10 feet away from the animal. Then you call it into your radio. Hey, Safari, whatever truck I am, call it in, stopped in West Savannah for an ostrich. I am 10 feet away because that's the first thing they're going to ask. Okay. If it doesn't move in 30 seconds, call us back. Okay. Well, it's an ostrich, so I already know what's happening. So I'm sitting there and staring at me, the little ostrich face, because they are not the most intelligent animal. All right, it ain't moving. I call it in. Ostrich has not moved. Copy. We're sending animal program out to move it. So then here comes the pickup truck with the logo on the side, and they would physically get the animal out of the way. They would either entice it with food, or if they really had to, they would physically move the animal.
Move it.
Yeah. Wow. Now, most animals, the rhinos and giraffes especially, if you were kind of on top of them, they got the hint and they would get out of the way. So you would just slow down, take it easy, let them go. Ostriches, no. That was the one that stopped us the most. Wow. And that would stop everybody because then they would call in. They'd be like, everybody stop. So hopefully you're in a nice spot with a lot of animals, because I've been stopped for long periods before when some animals don't want to go. Like one ostrich actually laid an egg in the road, so they had to come remove the egg.
Wow. Oh man.
I think the longest showtime I ever clocked was 47 minutes because we were just stopped out there forever. But fortunately, we were stopped in the middle of Savannah. And at that point, I tell the guests outright, I'm like, guys, up ahead, there's an animal blocking a truck. We can't go anywhere. We're going to be here for a minute. Pull out your cameras and sit back and relax. And I would just turn my microphone off and just let them vibe. Because what are you going to do? They're live animals. You can't control that.
Right.
So, and then back when it was actually a ride, and it's not anymore because Disney, there was a tilting bridge that would like tilt and make it seem like it was going to break and freak the guests out. And that was always fun. And then we had the poacher scene where we would rescue the baby elephant, the one and only animatronic that we had. So that was a typical day at the safari. Now you want an animal story? Here's your animal story. So one day I'm driving, and there's a certain part where there's the mandrill monkeys, which if you guys don't know what a mandrill is, Rafiki from The Lion King. They're on one side, and they're active during the day, like during the morning. So anytime you're on safari after like 1 p.m., even 2 p.m., you're not going to see them. They're pretty much gone at that point. So they're like kind of like a morning animal. On the other side, we always kept the big bull male elephant because male elephants are solitary by nature. So the females and the kids were all together in one pen. He was always by himself. And elephants have a tendency to just kind of get lost in thought. So the elephant would stand there and sway back and forth. And that's actually the elephant thinking. That's a legit animal fact that they would talk about. So one day I'm driving past, the mandrills are out, the elephant's out. The big male mandrill happens to be out. This male mandrill liked to have his way with the females, loudly and aggressively.
Oh, geez. Oh, God.
And he was in a particular mood this day. So here we come. And on the left-hand side, he is full-blown, full noise, full just, okay. I look to the right-hand side. There's the male elephant, nice and close up to the gate. And he is having a very fantastic thought because he has 5 legs today.
Oh boy.
God.
Oh, boy.
So not only is this elephant in a very good mood, he takes a gigantic dump.
Oh, man.
Oh, great.
all at the same time. The kids are screaming. The adults are laughing. I shut off my microphone and just drive because no one's paying attention to me at that point.
No.
There's nothing to say or do at that point.
Oh, that's amazing.
Animals are doing what animals do, folks. What can you tell me? And
right.
The line I used to use, and this would always get a huge laugh from everybody, is, kids, if you're not sure what's going on, ask your parents later. And that always got a huge laugh.
Right.
That was my safe Disney way around that.
Wow.
Because sometimes the kids would ask, and I didn't want to answer. Your parents will tell you more about it afterwards. And that got a huge laugh from all the parents every time. But
that's great.
What can you do? Animals are going to be animals. So, but that was it was a really fun ride to work on rainy days. If it was downpouring, they'd kind of go and hide. But if you got like a good drizzle going, they would be running around like crazy, super playful. And we had some really cool animals on safari, such as an animal called the Bontebok. It's actually extinct in the wild. They only now exist on preserves.
Oh.
So this is the only place you can see them, is somewhere like an Animal Kingdom or a genuine like reserve, like in South Africa. You just can't find them in the wild anymore. So it was a big conservation story too, which I really appreciated about working there.
Wow.
Because I love animals. They taste good, but I love them. So.
Hey, I mean, it's the circle of life, kids.
That's right. And they witnessed it on Free Safari.
Amazing. Now, here's something, and it's interesting because I have seen some things in my day, but what is something that happens behind the scenes at a Disney park that would genuinely surprise the average guest?
So, I'm not sure how much of the curtain I want to pull back here, but
right, I got you.
This will probably surprise a lot of people, but maybe they won't. The characters that you meet to get cast as a character, it's actually height based. So certain characters are certain heights. So if you are, let's say you're 5'8" like me, you actually qualify to be Eeyore or Tigger. So if I was ever going to be a character, I could literally be my favorite Disney character, which is Tigger. Nice. And I love Eeyore too. So that would have been amazing for me. They also have to learn to do the autographs exactly the same way. So if you get an autograph from Mickey, it looks exactly the same like the other autograph you got from Mickey. So they're all trained to write that the same way.
Wow.
The other big thing is that Disney is very, very good at teaching you about the park history. And they give you a lot of perks for working there. Livable pay wasn't one of them, but that's all right. But there are a lot of times where you will encounter people in the parks who might work there, and they're literally just there to go shopping because they can. Because I did that once. I went to Disney's Hollywood Studios. I got in, on my worker pass. I rode Rock and Roller Coaster, which is one of my favorite rides. Now it's being rethemed to be the Muppets, by the way, which I cannot wait for because I love the Muppets.
Yep, I've heard.
Yeah.
I love Aerosmith. Don't get me wrong.
Right, of course.
But I was there to do my Christmas shopping for my family. I rode Rock and Roller Coaster. I went. I got my stuff. I had it sent to the front of the park. I rode Rock and Roller Coaster a second time, and then I rode it a third time before I left, just because I could. And that's all I did for a couple hours. So
sure.
But the biggest behind the scenes thing that I think might actually disappoint a lot of people is that everybody wants to know what's behind the scenes. It's really not worth seeing, guys. Like yes, everybody's like, oh, there's a big secret tunnel under Magic Kingdom. Yeah, there is, but it's a utility tunnel. There's pipes on the ceiling. It's lit, like cement floors. Like, it's not exciting. I know that it seems like this big mystery thing, but they're not like they're not decorated or anything. They're not
it's not fancy.
I think a lot of people should kind of like kayfabe. I think they should just lose themselves in the moment and enjoy it. I get the curiosity. Absolutely. I really do. And I can tell you lots of cool fun facts about every ride if you really want to know about special effects and everything. But like, on the one hand, go just enjoy and immerse yourself in the moment, because nobody does it better than Disney. And I'm like such a theme park snob now. Like the last time I went to Hershey Park, I'm like, look at them getting a sit launching this roller coaster. I never got a sit. Who do they think they are? Look at that shirt. That shirt's not even tucked in. Like I'm like, yeah, we had a much higher expectation now. Thankfully, Disney has loosened up. They're cooler about visible tattoos and facial hair and everything, which they weren't for a long time. So, and that all happened after I left. But yeah, it's they really do a good job capturing the magic. And Walt's dream was, I want to create a place where everybody can enjoy it, families can enjoy it. Because he didn't want to just bring his kids to the county fair or whatever, and it was just stuff for kids to do, but there was nothing really for the adults. So he consciously created this world for everybody. And the whole, and Disney adults are a real thing. Hello, hi. So go enjoy the parks. You can go at any age and have a blast. My parents are annual pass holders. They're both in their 70s. And when they do the snowbird thing, because that's what we do when we retire from up north, and they go to their Florida house, they just go to the parks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they have a blast every time. They're both in their 70s. Who cares?
Yeah. So the moral of all of this is that if you have all these, you're busy wondering about things about Disney, and just let it go.
Right.
I was working there when that friggin' movie came out, dude. Let me tell you, that was something. They would come.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I'm working at Epcot in the Interventions Plaza, which isn't even anywhere close to the Anna and Elsa meet and greet. People are coming in and screaming at me because I can't believe the line is 4 hours long. Why is that? I don't know. You want to go on Some of All Thrills? Like, why are you yelling at me? By the way, at one point, I could direct people to the bathroom in 6 different languages, and that's a friggin' accomplishment.
Wow,
I can't do it anymore. I don't
special.
Remember. But I learned, because you get a lot of foreign guests, so you just have to.
Right.
You kind of just figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
Baño, lo siento.
Well, so in between your Disney stints, you went to Universal to be part of the opening team for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which launched in June 2010 and ended up kind of changing the entire theme park industry. What was it like being on the inside of something that historic?
It was really cool. So I got in to be part of the commissioning team. I had gone to work for Universal because after the internship ended, I was considered a seasonal employee, but I wasn't scheduled. I had to pick up shifts, and I wanted something more steady. So I went to Universal and was working there, and they just happened to offer me full time before Disney did. I eventually went back to Disney, but I had to take the guaranteed hours and money and everything, as you do as an adult. So when Harry Potter stuff happened, I signed up for it, not really knowing if I was going to get in or not. You have to go through an interview process. They give you a Harry Potter quiz. Now, I actually knew this beforehand going in, that if you really, really ace it and you're too excited, you probably won't get in, because they didn't want the super fans.
Yeah.
You also had to know stuff about Harry Potter. So I didn't intentionally get any questions wrong, but the 2 questions I got wrong happened to be 5-star questions, like Dave Meltzer style 5 stars.
Oh, yeah.
The hardest of the hard. And they really were difficult questions. I just genuinely didn't know the answer, but I guess that was good enough. So we were there to actually watch the rides being built, watch the special effect testing. We got to test the ride before it was open. We would,
awesome.
The executives would bring their families, and that was the first real test dummies, and they would fix things based on feedback. But the whole experience of actually seeing it open, because the cast from the movies were there, and we got to meet pretty much everybody. My couple of stories from that. We were doing a press. Yeah, it was one of the first big pressers that they had. So a lot of media was there, and it was Emma Watson, Matthew Lewis, who plays Neville, Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid, and the Phelps twins were all there.
Oh, wow.
So they got to come through, and I got to interact with them on a one-on-one basis. Robbie Coltrane complimented my Gryffindor robes, because that wasn't my choice, by the way, folks. When I got to wear Slytherin, that was the greatest shift I ever did, and I never went back, because they let you kind of be rude to the guests because it's part of the theming, and it was just fun. So
right.
But it was really cool to chat with them. So they're going to get on the ride. They're going to go through. They've got all the cameras set up, and they're like, all of you who you don't need to be here. Go sit in the break room. All right. So there's like 8 of us just sitting in the break room, just chatting and BSing and everything. And all of a sudden the break room door opens and Emma Watson walks in. I'm so sorry, guys. I need to use the loo. And we're like, okay.
Wow.
And then she like hung out with us for a few minutes and chatted with us before she left. And she was absolute sweetheart.
Wow.
There's video of one of the Phelps twins, I think Oliver and Rupert Grint, singing karaoke at City Walk, singing "Fight to Your Right to Party" by the Beastie Boys.
Oh,
nice.
I got to talk to Warwick Davis, which was a really big deal for me because I'm a big Star Wars fan too.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
Like,
tell me you're not a Leprechaun fan. Come on, greatest horror movies ever. Come on.
The first one's fun.
Listen, Leprechaun in the Hood is a legendary movie.
Jennifer Aniston's career had to start somewhere, so.
Oh, right. How dare you, sir? Oh boy.
Listen, I love cheesy horror movies. I really, really do. And Warwick Davis is awesome.
Yes.
Anybody else in that role, it would not have worked.
Absolutely.
So,
right.
Yeah, really cool to get to talk to him. I got to see John Williams perform a concert.
Oh, wow.
Person.
Seriously. Oh.
Yeah. Every time we saw Tom Felton, he had a butterbeer in both hands. And he walks past and he goes, guys, I'm going to quit tomorrow, I swear. Like,
I'm going to quit tomorrow.
One really funny story that happened was Matthew Lewis is coming through again, and there's somebody with him. And as they're coming through, one of my coworkers shows up behind me. She goes, who's this old guy holding Neville back? What is this? They walk by. She's like, oh, my God, was that Dumbledore? Like, yeah, that was Michael Gambon. She's like, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
He was also drunk off his ass. But
well, hey,
whatever you got to do. But it was really cool to just see how nice everybody was. Like Daniel Radcliffe,
right?
Really, really kind. Everybody except for Bonnie Wright was a little diva-ish. But I think she was just in a bad mood because they couldn't go on the Dueling Dragon coaster because there was a thunderstorm. And she's like, but I want to go on the dragons. And it's like, well, you can't. Not till the friggin' lightning's gone. Like, so I get it, but also, But most of everybody who was there was really cool, very appreciative of everything. The only person I didn't actually interact with at all was the author herself. And in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't. Well, I won't go on a tirade about that, but you ruined the fandom for me, jerk. Not the word I want to use, but I'll be nice to you guys.
How dare you, author?
How dare you? But yeah, that was a really cool experience. So that was really fun to tell people about because I got to be part of a big theme park, like major launch. And that morning, I want to say it was probably about 5:30 in the morning when I was walking through. But that opening day, every newscast from around the globe was there. It was so busy, but it was really, really cool. And like the fans were coming through, they're getting off the ride sobbing of what a great experience it was.
Wow.
And I get to say that I got to be part of that. So
that's incredible. Yeah.
Even she can't take that away from me.
That's right.
No.
Yeah. See, you can try, author, but
you can try, but you can't.
You're not going to ruin this.
You can't take away my passion and my memories.
Right.
All right. So Disney and Universal, this brings up some thoughts, and I want to ask you if you have been on either of these rides, because these in my mind are some of the greatest things they've ever done.
Yeah, let's go.
Did you ever have the opportunity to get on the Back to the Future ride?
Absolutely.
Oh, good Lord.
Amazing ride. I love that ride.
I rode that like 15 times the day we were there because I was Back to the Future that's my favorite movie trilogy of all time, and that it was such a good ride. The build up as you walked through and the story they told, and they used Emmett Brown, and like the whole thing was just phenomenally done.
Yeah. I loved it. And I wish it was still around, but I understand Universal and Disney are very different in that aspect. Disney likes to be timeless. Universal likes to evolve. So it's a business.
Yes. Just recently, I've been reading that Universal have been making some moves behind the scenes that people think might be a revival of the Back to the Future ride, which would be incredible. I think it's in one of the parks still has it, like overseas somewhere. It's still running.
I mean, I don't trust the theme park dirt sheets all that much, so I'll believe it when I see it. But
sure. All right,
I'd be okay with that.
So now the other one, and this one has some controversy to it. But did you ever get to ride Alien Encounter? Possibly the scariest ride of all time.
Yes. Once I got to ride it once.
Yep, me too.
And that was a perfect example of Disney honestly missing the mark. I really think they should have kept that, but they catered to the complaints. It's too scary, and kids are complaining. That was the point, to be that edgy attraction.
Yes,
maybe Magic Kingdom wasn't the best place for it. Maybe that should have been a Hollywood Studios thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it was genuinely terrifying, and that was the best thing about it.
Yes, and then it became even more terrifying when they turned it into Stitch, and it became the worst ride I've ever been on. And I love Stitch. Love Stitch. I was so angry with that ride, and I do not miss that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. All right. Well,
broke my heart.
On top of wrestling, on top of Disney, on top of Universal, you also host your own podcast, the Three Bells podcast, and you stream on top of everything else. So when did sort of the kind of creation bug bite you? And was it always connected to wrestling, or did it come from somewhere else?
I started podcasting in 2013, and I did do a wrestling podcast for a really long time. And then when that kind of just became like tedious after a while, I wanted to branch out and do other stuff. And I kept coming up with like other podcast ideas. Like I want to do a movie podcast and I want to do this type of thing. And then it was just too much to balance. Mm-hmm. So earlier, it was late last year. I went ahead and just formed Chris O'Mealy's Universe, which is just my individual podcasting channel. And the Chris O'Mealy's Universe podcast itself is whatever I want it to be. If I want to talk about movies, I talk movies. But the Three Bells idea was an idea I had to do one-on-one interviews with people in independent wrestling. Well, anybody in wrestling, really. But I really wanted to chat with the people who don't get interviewed that often, who don't get to come out here and tell their stories. Same way that you guys are doing this type of podcast. Same way other podcasts like Anthony Blackwell Jr. does his interviews. I wanted to chat with those types of people because I think their stories are interesting, and the big guys aren't going to interview them. I mean, I'd love to see J.S. Hawthorne on Chris Van Vliet or see Zoe Cannon on there, but that's not really on his radar, unfortunately. So how I wanted to differentiate my podcast was, I'm going to do this show and I'm going to interview everybody about their wrestling journey, but I also want to interview them about their personal interests, because no podcast is sitting down with Steve Austin and being like, let's talk movies. And I would love to have that conversation with him. I would love to ask The Undertaker about his favorite restaurant. I'd love to ask Bret Hart about other sports that he's played. So that's where I differentiate my show. So we'll do your wrestling journey, but then we're also going to talk about fun stuff. We're going to talk movies and shows and music and concerts and video games and books and restaurants and life. Just life.
Yeah.
And that's chrisomealy.podbean.com, or you can just find Chris O'Mealy's Universe on all the major podcasting channels. And if you don't find me on one of them, let me know and I'll put myself out there.
Awesome. So on the Three Bells podcast, you've interviewed a wide range of people from all over the wrestling world. So what is the best story a guest has ever told you that you were not expecting going into that conversation?
Ooh, good question. Based on everybody I've interviewed, the biggest surprises actually usually come with the non-wrestling questions. When you really start finding out about people's background and you learn how much they actually did in school, for example, or what they have some really cool travel stories. They've been to these really cool places. The one that actually surprised me, I just interviewed Bruce Delaney, who just retired as a referee. And I found out that he played World of Warcraft.
Ooh.
And that's like, right. And he played Dungeons and Dragons, and I would not have pegged him for a D&D guy.
Wow.
So,
wow.
I thought that was pretty neat.
That is really cool.
So you find out a lot of cool stuff by getting to interview people and kind of letting them sit back and cut loose. I also learned everybody loves sushi. So I just want to get everybody together and go out for sushi one night.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. Sean, I think you know what our answer to that question is. The Bateri interview that we had.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
so their top 5 was the top 5 things you don't know about the Bateri. And their number 1 is a story that I cannot believe didn't get us somehow in trouble, because it is, it's not for the kiddies. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah,
and,
it's a very adult.
If you have not seen that episode, please go and watch that episode. And specifically for that, I mean, the Bateri's great to begin with. Love the Bateri, great guys. Through this journey, you meet a ton of amazing people that you're like, wow, these guys are really great. And that was the case with the Bateri, having known them from the Chikara days and whatnot. But this top 5, let me tell you, man, it is worth the watch alone. And that story specifically, which is just and I could give you a million guesses and you would never guess what it was going to be about. It is amazing.
Absolutely.
One of my standard questions is, what's something about yourself that, like, unique about yourself that people would be surprised to learn? And that usually gets some of the most fascinating answers, because, if I asked you guys that question, you would probably come up with something really cool that I wouldn't expect. And maybe your listeners wouldn't expect, because you just don't get an opportunity to talk about it.
Sure.
So
sure.
You can learn a lot about people just by letting them sit back, relax, and be themselves. And I don't do, like you guys, I'm not doing any kind of gotcha journalism. I'm not trying to drill anybody about rock and rebel. Like, I'm not gonna do stuff like that. So,
oh boy,
I want people to come on and be comfortable and tell their story and have fun and be relaxed. Yes, I allow my listeners to ask questions, and we always end the show with that, but I screen them. So I'm not going to make sure anything goes out. And I've only ever had to take out one inappropriate question. And unfortunately, it was towards a female ring announcer. So that kind of upset me a little bit, but that's
right.
That's the open forum. That's why I screen them.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So as you mentioned a little bit earlier, you are working on your first book. Yes. So give us something. Give us a little teaser, anything. What are we looking at here? What's kind of something about the book?
Okay, so it's a horror anthology. It's based on campfire tales and stories from Weird New Jersey, because I grew up in New Jersey, and Weird New Jersey kind of started that whole paranormal craze, what with the Jersey Devil and everything. And there were a lot of famous places, some of them close to me, where I would go and explore them. And sometimes they would be exactly what you'd think, completely bogus, or just teenagers trying to mess with people. But I've personally seen stuff that I couldn't really explain. Like, why on this one road in the middle of summer is all the foliage dead? Why is the radio on my car not working only when I'm on this road? Like, weird stuff like that, right? So, and I was in Boy Scouts. I'm an Eagle Scout. So I did a lot of camping and everything. So of course we would tell ghost stories around the campfire. And one summer, I actually went out to New Mexico to a reservation called Philmont, which is like a big high adventure hiking trail. Went out there for 10 days. Really, really fun, really cool experience. And a lot of ghost stories out there. And I had a little book filled with these ghost stories, still on my bookshelf downstairs. And I remember thinking about some of these tales and everything and being like, they're really cool. They're a little far-fetched, but what if they were like turned into a horror story? So I started taking inspiration from them, and I started writing like horror short stories based on them. Then I decided to turn that around and say, well, what if I take a couple of these stories and interlock them with the same characters and build towards something? So maybe there's 4 small stories in the book, but they're all leading up to something big at the end. So that's kind of where I started going with that. So the first short story that I'm actually writing, and I will actually put this out on the internet for free so everybody can read it. and it will be included with the book when the book is finished. You'll have to buy the book to get the other stories.
Sure.
But
of course,
it's based on a campfire tale that I heard when I was in I think that was the summer I did camping in New York. I really didn't like that camp, and I don't know why the hell I went back. But, we made the most of it. And I heard one of those stories, and it was one of those stories that kind of freaked me out a little bit. So I'm making some creative changes to sort of ground it in realism and skepticism.
Gotcha.
And turn it into a horror story. So it might only be 8 or 9 chapters long, but then combine that with 3 other main stories. And eventually, if things go my way, which I'm the writer, so I freaking hope they do, it's all going to lead to an encounter with the Jersey Devil.
Oh, all right.
Love that.
That's the top crypto tale from the state that I
grew
up in, with the Pine Barrens and everything. So I'm going to try to lead that into an encounter with the Jersey Devil. I'm not sure where it's going to go just yet. I'll figure it out as I get there, but I'm looking forward to it. Ooh. And that's the first of I actually have currently, this is insane because I'm nuts, I have 9 book ideas written down, so I want to start getting them out there because I've got others, including a wrestling story that will be a fictionalized promotion, all based on a combination of old characters from the old E-Fed days. Yes, folks, I was that nerd who did E-Fedding in high school. If you don't know what that is,
I absolutely love it. I miss, like, when I see old issues of Pro Wrestling Illustrated and they have the ad in the back for the E-Fed. Like, I miss that. I absolutely love that. I think it was amazing.
Yeah, that was me. I did it. And I'm going to combine that with a couple of my own stories, fictionalize them to make them entertaining, but basic truth. And one thing to tie this back to Disney. So I can't write an autobiography about my time working there. I think there's some kind of like no compete thing that I signed. I never confirmed if that was real, but I've heard it's a thing.
Don't take the chance.
Yeah. But what's stopping me? What's stopping me from writing a story about a fictional theme park that a guy goes to work for?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's also in the works. And some adventure stuff, an adventure based on inspired by The Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, favorite video game of all time.
Amazing.
Love that.
And an epic story that hopefully will be like a big like multi-part series that's I'm stealing elements from things like Avatar, Pokemon, X-Men, but you'll see when I get there. I would like to have all this stuff out in the next couple of years. It's just a matter of getting that creative mentality and really sitting down and focusing. And I've never been diagnosed with the ADHD, but I'm pretty sure I have it. So I gotta zone in, and that's the hardest part is to just sit down and zone in.
Yep.
But I'm working on it.
Yeah. Well, just remember, master, inspire, zone in. Don't forget.
There you go.
That's fantastic advice, Hausen. Thank you.
Yes. King Ralphhausen. All right.
Right.
So we're gonna do a rapid fire round here. Quick questions and fire off. We got some good ones here. I'm excited for. All right. Favorite Disney ride of all time?
Haunted Mansion.
Favorite wrestling match you've ever called?
Zoe Cannon versus J.S. Hawthorne.
Butterbeer at the Wizarding World, yes or no?
Yes. Emphatic yes. Yes. Emphatic yes. Like
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Dream commentary partner for one night only?
Jim Cornette.
One wrestling match from history you wish you could have called live?
Ooh. Brett versus Austin, WrestleMania 13.
Ooh. Taylor ham or pork roll? What's it called?
I'm from the north. It's Taylor ham.
Ah! I'm disappointed in you. Central Jersey, is it a real thing?
I plead the fifth.
Oh, damn it. I thought I'd get on that one.
Yes.
Yes. I have to say I'm disappointed in your Taylor ham answer. That hurts me.
I'm from North Jersey. It's Taylor ham in the north and it's pork roll in the south. Just like it's Quick Check in the north and it's Wawa in the south.
That's
New York sports teams in the north and it's Philly sports teams in the south.
Listen, I can't. I listen. There's no excuse for calling it Taylor ham. I'm sorry. Look, I made pork roll yesterday morning with breakfast, and
pork roll is delicious, especially when it's Taylor ham branded.
I only go to the stores that I only get the Taylor ham. I won't get like the Taylor brand. I won't get anything else because there is nothing.
Problem. So what the hell's the problem then?
Well, it's pork roll. Taylor
it's
is
Taylor, apparently it's Taylor ham.
Get out of here!
Don't go down this rabbit hole.
Listen. I was going to invite you back to talk about your book when it's coming out.
I'm not so sure. It's whole Taylor ham episode. That's it. 1 hour.
All right.
Taylor ham. We're doing it.
All right. Well, listen, you're on, pal. All right. Well, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, and you had me with the PlayStation answer, but then you lost me with Taylor ham, we are going to go to Sean's favorite part of the interview. It is the final question of the interview. So, Sean, take it away.
You had mentioned earlier about your podcast how you like to ask certain questions that really incite a good response. This is one of my favorite questions to ask wrestlers and non-wrestlers alike. What does pro wrestling mean to you, and what is the significance that it has had on your life?
Pro wrestling is more than just a thing I like. It's who I am. And pro wrestling has saved my life 3 times. It's given me purpose. It's given me drive. It's given me inspiration. It's allowed me to meet some of the most wonderful human beings on the planet. And it's allowed me to discover some of the worst of humanity at the same time. And you take the good with the bad. But it's when you're allowed to be, when you're not shackled, it's a very creatively freeing enterprise. It's a brotherhood and sisterhood. And I'm very, very protective and very appreciative of my brothers and sisters in wrestling. I would do anything for them, the good people. I will literally, take bullets for these people because they are some of the greatest humans that you will ever meet. And they do this not to make money, not to be famous. They do it because they love it. And when you're around that many people who are just passion driven, it inspires you to be a better person. And they have inspired me to pursue and follow through with my dreams. That's why I'm writing a book. That's why I podcast. That's why I stream, because I have that inspiration and that support.
That's awesome. Well, before we and this was great because I mean we've had wonderful conversations about all kinds of amazing things. We've learned a lot today. But before we move on to our top 5, I just want to point out good friend of yours has been watching the show and enjoying the show and commenting. He specifically liked when I talked about the Stingrays with Steve Irwin. I just wanted to throw that out there. So yes,
I mean you can't mention Steve Irwin without the Stingrays, unfortunately.
Listen,
you really can't.
Did you ever see the meme though, where it's like if he encountered the Stingray in heaven, that he would be like so appreciative of like I'm so sorry. Love.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
that's the truest thing ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. All right. Well, it has been a great interview, but it is now time to get to the top 5. And I understand there's honorable mentions for this one as well. But Sean, remind us again what we're talking about today, because this is a good one. I'm gonna take some notes.
Yeah. Again, I have to give mad props to Chris over here for coming up with this top 5, and it was really cool to see him posted out there too on the social. So it was cool to see other people's answers on there as well. But we're doing top 5 Disney characters that would make excellent pro wrestlers.
All right. So we'll start with number 5, the original Jungle Boy, Tarzan.
Okay.
Tarzan, the original Jungle Boy. He's got the look. He's got the charisma for it. He's got the athleticism, and I think he'd be a good top tier babyface.
Okay,
right. I like it. Yeah.
Number 4, we have the real Queen of the Sea, Moana.
Oh,
okay.
Everybody's going to expect me to say Maui for this one, and I totally understand why. But Moana would kick Maui's ass.
Jeez. All right. Well, that is your hot take right there, people.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, I've
right.
seen the movie. She did kick his ass. So
Right. I mean, fair.
Yeah,
I mean, fair.
all right. At number 3, I'm going to throw you a curveball. I've created a makeshift tag team.
Ooh, all right.
okay.
I'm excited.
A little bit of high flyer here. Aladdin and Flynn Rider.
Oh, okay.
With their ability to leap from rooftops and avoid danger, they would be they'd be the pinball tag team.
The pinballs. That's great. I appreciate you giving this much thought. This is great.
Yeah, really. I mean,
number 2 is probably the biggest no-brainer on the list, Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, that's like, yeah.
Now, when I originally pitched this to you guys, my personal rule was I have to discount their powers. So, and I also needed to make sure that they were like sizable to be in a ring. So, like Jiminy Cricket would get stepped on, and Chernobog would be bigger than the venue. So that's not going to happen. So I went with Hercules though, because even if he can channel his power back, I think he would work a good match. He'd be your Obafemi, your Brock Lesnar, your super powerhouse. Honorable mentions before we get to number 1. A lot of people are going to be surprised that I disclude Gaston on the list, but I'm going to tell you why Gaston doesn't make the cut. I think that would be 1990 Shawn Michaels. I don't think he would agree to do any jobs.
Okay.
I think he'd go into business for himself. I think you'd have a Teddy Hart on your hands, and you don't want that. So
no, he'd be spending a lot of his time in Syracuse at bars.
Yeah. Remember, there were 9 of them.
Yeah, that's what they say.
I think that Wreck-It Ralph would be a good honorable mention. I think that I think he learned how to work. By the end of the movie, he was a good worker, so he just had to get there.
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I don't mention Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, because The Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie.
Ooh.
Okay.
I mean, they would, but I also think they would probably be a really bad tag team because they probably bicker way too much, and that would probably cost them a lot of matches. And it would be Bob would get rolled up, and then Helen would just stand there and stare at him with her arms folded and be like, "Really, really." And then the last honorable mention, which I think is going to throw everybody for a loop because nobody mentioned him when I put it out there, Kronk. That's your R-Truth style comedy wrestler.
Right, yes.
Tell me that Kronk wouldn't be over in front of any audience ever.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, man. That would be, that's so good. Like, that's blowing my mind right now just thinking about it. Yeah.
Number 1, I'll give you number 1 best Disney character who would make a wrestler, Mulan. Because she could take out anybody, male or female.
Yes.
That's your modern day Rhea Ripley. That's
okay. Oh, I like it.
She's got all the pedigree for it. She trained for it, and you know what? I'm not gonna mess with somebody who's got a body count in the thousands.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh no.
Yeah. If Mulan says that I'm doing the job, I'm doing the job. You got it. However you want.
Yeah.
But I think Mulan would be because when I first thought of the list, I was like, I think princesses would be fun. But then I realized that kind of cuts down. A lot of them probably would be too power heavy. Like without her ice powers, can Elsa actually go? Anna could.
Right.
Anna punches people in the face.
Right.
But
right.
I think Anna would make a better MMA fighter.
Right.
Well, there you go. And if you guys want to ever have that discussion, hit me up and let me know who your Disney people are.
Yeah.
We didn't even scratch the surface on everybody.
Man, there's so many things we need to talk. We need a pork roll episode, Taylor branded pork roll episode.
Taylor branded pork roll.
And now we need to have a Disney characters as wrestlers. We can create our whole federation. Like we'll do the whole thing.
Hey, at least I had you on the PlayStation. Look,
yes,
Xbox lost me after the 360. The 360 was a fantastic console, but every decision they made after that was terrible. And the Kinect is where I drew the line.
I had the Xbox One, and then I ended up selling that to get a PlayStation 4 because my friends were all playing Final Fantasy 14 online, and I did not have a gaming computer. So for me to play with them, I'm like, well, I guess I got to get a PlayStation. So I've always been PlayStation.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. I have a really good gaming PC, so why do I need an Xbox?
Sure.
Right.
All right. Well, amazing top 5. Definitely gave us a lot to think about as far as Disney characters as wrestlers. Quite enjoyed that. So now we're going to move on to some upcoming events. Before we get into upcoming events, the Opinion City podcast ticker down at the bottom is sponsored by our good friend Jim Murray, another author who wrote a book, The Chase, a wrestling story. And here is Jim Murray himself to tell you about The Chase, a wrestling story.
Enjoy this.
When you look across the omniverse, there's an infinite number of worlds to explore. There's universes that are entertaining. There's universes that are elite. There's universes full of non-stop action. But I bet you didn't know that there's a whole other universe out there, man. There's a whole other frontier. And in 2026, there's been a brand new Big Bang, brother. Witness the birth of the universe of professional wrestling. And the first celestial body in this universe is right here, man. This is The Chase, a wrestling story. You see, for the last 8 months, Jim Murray's been hanging and banging on his laptop, cracking out the great American novel. And now it's all come to fruition right here, man. We got 230 pages of post-binding action. We got triumphs, tragedies, betrayals, victories, and everything in between, man. And it's all right here for you, brother. For 40 years, you've been asked the question, what you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna buy this book, brother. And The Chase and Jim Murray and the universe of professional wrestling, it's gonna run wild on you.
All right. Well, you can scan the QR code that was on the screen there to purchase that book, or you can find the link down in the description below to check out that book and all the other interesting stuff that Jim has written. So I've been told, and this is some insider information, the first book, which I have and is fantastic read because it's all based in the territory days. But the second book that's going to follow up on this is going to be a manga book, and it is going to follow characters in Japan, which is very cool. So definitely check that out. All right. So Chris O'Mealy, what is going on in your world that you would like to highlight?
Well, you guys can check out the podcast. I try to release a new episode at least once a week. I took a little hiatus to get through the busy April wrestling season with the Zembo double shot and WrestleMania because I hosted a watch-along party for that. So that was a lot of wrestling in a very short period of time. But you guys can check that out. I stream. The channel right now is called CKCC Online, which is based on my old brand. It will be getting rebranded, but you can find it there. I try to stream multiple times a week. My buddy Dan Peck, who you guys saw in the comments, is the other main streamer on there. I'm starting a couple of projects coming up, including a history of Mario that I'm really looking forward to. We're going to go back. We're going to look at Mario's humble beginnings from Donkey Kong and go all the way up to like Super Mario Wonder on the Switch.
Nice.
So, and when I say I'm doing the history of Mario, I mean the history of Mario. And yes, folks, I have a copy of Hotel Mario on CDI. I hate it.
Wow.
I do it for you for the entertainment. So I'm looking forward to that. I have plans to do another restream of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh, nice.
I just completed the original game on PS5 with the remaster, and God, I love those games so much. But I do a lot of request stuff too, and I do some really fun coaching things. So my buddy Chris Decker came on once, and he has mastered the original Legend of Zelda. So we did that as a stream. It was about 4 hours, but he coached me from beginning to end, 100% completion on the original Legend of Zelda.
Ooh.
Wow.
And the only reason it took 4 hours instead of 3 was because I had technical issues.
There
you go.
I had to but he has the whole map memorized. So he literally just told me where to go, what to do.
Wow.
In dungeons.
Wow.
He knows the dungeons, so I don't have to go in every room. And it was really cool. And I'm actually planning on doing that for anybody who ever wants to play Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, because I have that game super memorized. I will coach you to 100% completion if you ever want to take the challenge.
Wow.
Or
Look
Link's
at
Awakening.
Wow.
Link's Awakening on Game Boy.
Nice.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so that brings up a quick question. What are your thoughts on Twilight Princess?
Criminally underrated and underappreciated.
Hey.
Yes. That is.
I think you have redeemed yourself here, sir.
Yeah, pretty much. While A Link to the Past will always be A Link to the Past, something special. Really, the story of Twilight Princess just drew me in. I think that people get too worked up about playing as a wolf at times, which I thought was tremendously fun. I loved it. I thought it made a real, like, it gave you a different dichotomy to playing a Zelda game.
Right.
And the story drew me in, and it's one of my favorites. So yes, you have redeemed yourself.
I understand the complaints that people say it's kind of like dark and muddy when compared to the colorful Wind Waker, and I understand that, but the whole point was it was supposed to be a darker and grittier Zelda title,
right?
So you kind of have to take that aesthetic with it. But yeah, I loved Twilight Princess, and at the end of the game, I remember just going like, "Don't go."
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. It was a very emotional moment for a Zelda game. Like you were really torn. Yeah.
And that's a crazy Ganon battle too. It's like a 4-part battle because you have to battle the evil Zelda puppet, and then you do the horseback.
Oh,
and then
yeah,
you have to do the sword fight, and then the giant creature. Like it's wild.
Very
and
intense.
and I no disrespect whatsoever to Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild. They are phenomenal games. They're worth every positive review they have, but they are not my favorites personally, because I will always take Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, and Twilight Princess over those two. And
wow.
When you say it, everybody's like, "Well, you hate those games." No.
Oh, no.
No. I say I hated those games. No, I'm just saying that these three are better for me personally.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it has been a fantastic time getting to know you, getting to learn a little bit more about you, getting to get that amazing top 5. It was a great time. And of course, now that you've redeemed yourself, you are welcome here on the channel anytime. We hope to have you on in the future to talk about your books coming out, and
I'd love to.
The Disney Wrestling Federation special that we certainly will not get taken. We certainly will not get taken down for.
No. Can I give you guys something to end with?
Yes, you may. Absolutely.
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you guys the favorite fact I ever learned about any Disney attraction ever, for all of you wonderful listeners. Everybody knows what It's a Small World is, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the dolls have synthetic hair. The humidity from Florida causes the hair to expand, so the dolls have to get haircuts.
Oh, wow.
So think about that next time you go on there and see all those eyes staring at you.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
wow.
man.
Unbelievable. All right. That is a fact that will either impress you or haunt you. So
I was going to say.
Yes, correct.
Thank you for that. So before we get out of here, make sure you join us next week. We mentioned this earlier, but we will be talking to our good friend Balian Aki. You either know him from his singles time or his time in the tag team Best Bros, which are amazing. And again, 2 years in the making. We drove this guy from the airport to an independent show, the WrestleMania 40 week, and you are not going to want to miss this one, because this guy has an absolutely incredible story. If you are not familiar with Balian and what he has done throughout his life to become a professional wrestler, to stay in professional wrestling, it is an absolute incredible journey that you will not want to miss.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Opinion City podcast. For the voice of 3LW, the man who is writing books, hosting podcasts, you can find him everywhere. For Parmesan, I'm King Ralph, and remember, kindness is free, so be kind to each other. God bless each and every one of you, and we will see you next time.
That's Opinion City. New episodes live every Sunday on YouTube. And to our Patreon members, thank you for supporting independent wrestling media. We'll see you next time.